So I wanted to take a couple minutes and talk about the adapter that I made for my Firebox. Now this is my Gen 2 Firebox 5-inch stove, and in a rare moment of maturity, I didn't want to buy another camp stove. I have this Primus OmniFuel. Now the reason I bought the Primus OmniFuel is because I can use it with any kind of fuel. I can put a canister on this thing if I want to. I can run kerosene, diesel, unleaded fuel, white gas, which is what I'm running now. And it just gives me tons of options. So I thought it was a perfect mate to go with my Firebox. I had a piece of 22 gauge steel and bent something up, did some measurements. Now the challenge that I have with my OmniFuel, as opposed to say the Transient gas burner, is with the gas burner that Steve sells at Firebox, the burner is attached basically to this, just this line, and your flame is controlled by this main nozzle. With the OmniFuel, I have this additional stock with my fine flame adjustment, and that posed some challenges. So what I ended up doing is I had to make things so that the stocks would come through the Gen 2 windows. So now, if you notice, I've got this, my Firebox is actually upside down. I'm using my standard grill plate. There's a piece of carbon felt under there. And the the grill plate helps keep the box set up. It basically does what the flame plate does, the bottom plate of the Firebox. Only because it's upside down, that thing has to be folded over, and there's no rigidity. Now, when I originally made this, I could use the fire sticks, and that worked just fine. But what I found was if I had a couple of pieces from antennas, stainless steel, I just made little sticks, and that allowed me to get this burner just a little bit higher and closer to the bottom of my pot. Now that's the 14 centimeter pot, and you can see it fits in there. It sits in between the legs like it was made for it. It's perfect. A 16 centimeter pot sits up on top, and the distance from the burner to the bottom of the pot is still pretty good, so I'm real comfortable using this setup with a frying pan or anything bigger than this 14 centimeter pot. 12 centimeter pot, things get, I don't know, I don't have one, so that's just, the 12 and 10s are too small for me. If I'm going to go through the trouble of boiling a bunch of water or anything, then the 14 seems to work out just fine for me. So, yeah, we've only been on here for a couple of minutes. So that's configuration 1. I'll, as soon as I get something hot to drink here and things cool off, we'll take a look at the other configuration, which puts the Firebox in its upright position. And you can see what you're working at there. If this is all I was doing, the Firebox, I can set it up in its normal upright configuration. This then comes up through the higher of your 2 feed holes, and I can use the fire sticks to set my burner. Now, again, I'm limited where the burner can be by the stem. Now, fortunately, it all works out that if you put your other 2 fire sticks in to support the bottle, that is just about that perfect 1 inch in there to set the bottle. And hot. Just about perfect. And this actually works really, really well. So the question would be, why did I want this? I spend a lot of time car camping even with the dog. But here in the Olympic Mountains, if you're above 3,500 feet, you're not allowed a fire. But I got caught out because we were spending a night, we were up above 3,500 feet, and I certainly wasn't going to start a fire because way down in the valley you can see people, and you know, you're just not supposed to, and even if I did, chances are good somebody would have called it in and I would have been in real trouble. And that made for a long night because I had neglected to heat up a water bottle to throw in my sleeping bag. And the other part of that is too, as much as I prefer to cook over fire or just use, I mean, there's so much fuel laying around here. But despite my desire, I mean, first thing in the morning or whatever, sometimes you just need to get some hot water or something going. And you just don't want to mess around with wood if you don't have to. And this provides that solution. So, yeah, this was my burner solution for the Firebox. It seems to be working real well for me. As time goes on and I decide to make a different plate, there are some things that I would very much change. The biggest one is I'm going to make the plate a little more carefully so that it would actually snap onto either these fire sticks or the little stainless rods that I use, and keep it a little more secure. I mean, that's really the big one, and make it look nicer. My water's boiling. Thanks.